Hey folks, it's Michelle again from Bel Air Farm. I wanted to take a few minutes and give you all a tour of our eggplant and pepper varieties that we'll have for sale this season, and give you a few tips and tricks about how to grow eggplant and peppers in your own garden. I'm going to start with eggplant. Now eggplant is a plant with velvety sort of leaves. It has a bush-like habit and will grow about 3 to 4 feet high and spread about as much as well. So you want to give them about as much room as you would give a tomato or something in the garden. Eggplants come in basically 3 general types: Italian style, Asian types, and then specialty types. When you think about eggplant, a lot of folks think about the classic Italian. It's like a dark purple, or sometimes like people call it black. It's sort of like a globular shape, but it's also oblong. That's like the classic eggplant, and we have 3 different varieties that sort of fit that brief. We have Nigral, Nadia, and Traviata. Nadia is the largest of those 3, and it's kind of like our classic. We grow a couple different types just as an insurance policy against the ins and outs of the season. You never know what nature's going to throw at you, and one of these plants might be stronger than the other. So that's kind of why we have multiple types there. They're really, really pretty interchangeable. So if you want a large fruit, choose Nadia. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. Those are the classic black Italian. Then we also have one. It's the same shape as that Italian, but it is has a beautiful light purple and white stripe. You may have seen it at our CSA stands. That variety is called Anina, and it's same flavor and everything as the others. It just has that beautiful color. If you're wanting any more information about any of these varieties, most of our varieties are coming from Johnny's Selected Seeds. We use Johnny's because they can service our large order. They're really reliable in terms of customer service, shipping quickly, and supply and everything else. So germination, we love Johnny's. I have gotten a few things from a couple other places this year, but mostly this stuff is coming from Johnny's Seeds. So if you want to look up more, you can look them up on their website. Next in line, we have Beatrice. Now, Beatrice is also an Italian type, and it is more of a true globe style, so it's almost a complete sphere, and it's a lighter purple. I find that people don't like to take that one as much because they think it looks weird, but I think it's a really wonderful eggplant, and it cooks up very creamy and delicious. So I love this one for baba ganoush. But really, all the eggplants are kind of interchangeable when they're cooking. You'll read New York Times recipes that will not tell you that, but they'll be like, you have to get this type. No, you don't. You can really use any type of vegetable that you want in your kitchen, and don't let anyone tell you differently. But when it comes to the Asian types, they are a different shape, and they can be used differently, but they can also be used interchangeably. So when we're thinking about the Asian eggplants, we're thinking about generally like a longer, thinner, like a banana-shaped eggplant. Sometimes it's larger or smaller than a banana, but it's kind of that general shape. And we have varieties. One's called Orient Express, and that's the same color, dark purple black, as those Italian types. And you'll notice that this plant has, compared to the Italian type, it has a darker purple stem. And when this plant grows out, the growth habit of it as well will be a little different, and you'll be able to notice from the plant itself that it's different. Then we have two like light purple Asian style. One is called Asian Delight, one's called Ping Tung Long. And both of those are just the same shape, that banana shape, but they're lighter purple. In general, if you were going to differentiate between the two different types, the seed to the flesh to skin ratio is higher with the Italian. So a lot of times I base what I'm going to do with it based on like how I want the slices to be. If I want thick slabs, or if I want to roast it whole, I'll probably use one of the Italian types just because it's easier to prepare. If I want to stir fry or have little bite-sized pieces, I might start with an Asian one because it's just easier to prepare. I'm sure there is a flavor difference, but I also find that like you're going to be using other spices and things that have just as much of an impact on flavor as this variety does, and ultimately it's whatever eggplant you want to use in your dish. The one eggplant that I would say kind of defies all that logic is this one. It's a very special eggplant. It's called Kermit. It's a specialty eggplant. It's a Thai style eggplant, and it is that green golf ball. It's hard to harvest because it blends in with the color of the foliage, but it is a very unique fruit, and it has a delightfully seedy texture. I think it's kind of one of those crops like okra where it's like you either love it or you hate it. But if you're looking for something new and interesting, check out Kermit. Either get a plant and plant it in your garden, or check it out in our PYO field this year. We grow it out there. And that's basically our eggplant varieties. Now, when it comes to planting and growing your eggplants, just know that eggplant wants it so hot. Seriously, like the hotter the better. We grow it on black landscape fabric, and it helps raise the soil temperature immediately. We have also found, and we've heard from home growers, that when these plants are small, they tend to get hammered by flea beetles. Once they grow out of it entirely, and the beetles don't bother them at all, and there are really very few pests of an eggplant. You just need to get them out of the baby stage and well on their way to growth. And the way to do that is start with a good fertility. And that means either compost in the soil or whatever fertilizer you're going to use. You can also spray a foliar fertilizer, which is a very direct acting. All those things are basically going to give the plant energy to grow through any bugs that are trying to nibble on it. The other thing you can do, and if you've ever had problems with this in the past, it's definitely like the way to go, is cover the eggplant when you first plant it with something like Rime, or any other sort of agricultural cover, and then take that cover off once it grows a little bit. Once you see flowers, you need to take it off so that it can get pollinated. And then keeping it as hot as possible. It wants good airflow, so don't plant them too close together. And then it feeds heavily over long season, so make sure you put some nice fertilizer down for them and supplement with foliar feeding as needed. So that is my eggplants. And then I wanted to talk peppers with y'all as well. So when it comes to peppers, we'll start with our sweets. First off the bat, start with the adorable one. We have a pepper called Lunchbox, and again, most of these varieties are coming from Johnny's Seeds as well, and so you can look up more details about each variety there. Lunchbox is a miniature snacking pepper. It's about this big, and it's sweet, great for kids. We have it in our Pick Your Own field. If you want to try it out this summer, you can come grab some out there, or plant a plant for yourself. That one's really wonderful. And then we have two green to red bells. Lots of peppers start out one color and then turn another color. And it's up to you when you're wanting to harvest that. If you want to eat green peppers, pick green peppers. If you want to eat red peppers, be patient and they will turn red. And so our two varieties here are Ace and Ninja. Ace is our workhorse green pepper. It is the earliest pepper we grow, as in it matures fastest. And it has thin walls. So that's a note on that one. Ninja, on the other hand, is that really thick, fleshy, walled pepper. But it takes a little longer to harvest. I think it's like 80 days red ripe is how long you're going to be waiting from seed germination to harvest. And so both of these are green to red, so you can harvest them green, harvest them red, whatever you like. And the key to getting red peppers is just patience. And don't pick all the green peppers off or they can't turn red, right? Next down the line, everyone's favorite, Carmen. That's going to be similar to the Ninja, as in you're going to have to wait a little while to get those peppers, but it's going to be so worth it. It's our sweetest pepper. It's a bull's horn type, and it's red. We also have Nassau. That is called a Cubanelle pepper. It's a really lime green, yellow green, thin-walled pepper. Sort of bull's horn shape, but not quite pointy at the end. It's lobed at the end. And Nassau makes a great frying pepper. It's sweet and peppery and really beautiful. And then lastly, on the sweets, I have Islander. This is a novelty pepper. It's purple. It's also very early, almost as early as Ace. And it starts sort of a yellowy color, ripens to purple, and then will eventually turn orange if you leave it on there long enough. But we harvest it purple. And I find with Islander, it's great if you like raw peppers and if you like that novelty color. Now, it kind of turns an unpleasant color when it's cooked, so if you're looking for cooking peppers, I would skip that one. That is our selection of retail sweets. We do grow a couple other sweets that we didn't have enough seed to pot up this year, but that's a good selection there. And now onto the hots. As you can see, I have a large variety of hot peppers here. And I am going to go down the line here. Starting in the back, I've got shishito. Everyone knows this one. It's the Japanese specialty frying pepper, also known as a roulette pepper sometimes. It's very similar to the padron, which is also known as a roulette pepper. We don't have padrones this year, but we do have shishitos, and their famous preparation is just sort of seared or blistered in a skillet with sea salt, and just eaten as an appetizer. Really delicious. My new favorite pepper, amazing too, lives up to its name. This is a Korean drying chili. So gochujang, those things are made with this type of pepper. It's in the cayenne family, which means it dries really, really well, and is easy even for a beginner to kind of try their hand at making those two things. Gochugaru and gochujang are a tomato, are a pepper powder and a pepper paste from Korea, and it's sort of like a mild to medium heat. It's really kind of perfect to use liberally on stuff, and that's why I like it so much, because you can kind of use a lot of it. Two other cayenne styles that I have are Red Rocket and Red Flame. Now these are, like I said, cayenne style, so they're gonna dry well, just like the Amazing 2. These ones take a little longer to get red ripe, and they have a little bit of a difference in size. I'm forgetting now which one's the smaller and which one's the bigger. But both of these are great for ristas, which is like when you dry the peppers and you hang them up for decoration, or you use them for crafting or wreaths or stuff, making chili flakes with them, or using them fresh too. So just like with the sweets, you can choose when you harvest your peppers. Most the shishito is meant to be harvested green, but it will turn red. Amazing 2 is meant to be harvested red, but you can eat it green. It's really kind of up to you with that kind of stuff, but I'm kind of describing the traditional uses and coloration for these. Basan. This pepper is a poblano style pepper. So I don't know if y'all knew, but poblanos are called poblanos when they're fresh, and they're called anchos when they're dried. So it starts out a real dark green and is like your classic chile relleno, and then it ripens to a deep dark red, and then if you dry that red pepper, that's how you get ancho, or a similar chili is like guajillo, but ancho is like the classic poblano, but basan is our variety like that. Caprino, this is an Italian chili, and this is known as like a cherry bomb pepper. It looks like a tiny little pumpkin. It's really cute. People love stuffing or pickling it, and it's a nice medium heat, and is a really delightful and beautiful cherry color. Again, these ones start green, so you're welcome to eat them green, but red is traditional. Some people call them a cherry pepper too. Havasu, this is a Fresno chili. We actually don't have any jalapenos for retail this year. We must have run out of seed or lost them or something. We're going to have plenty in the pick your own field, so don't worry about that. But we do not have any for retail. If you're looking for a jalapeno substitute, I would say this one's a good one. It is a nice peppery flavor. You're going to get all that like pepperiness with some heat, but it's not overwhelming. And Fresno chilies can be eaten, they're sort of yellow, at the yellowy greenish state, or when it's red. Impala, this is our Serrano type this year. They were out of our normal Serrano variety, which is hot rod, so we tried out Impala this year. So far, germination's good. We'll see if the production is good as well. Impala would also be a good jalapeno substitute, but it's going to be hotter. They are generally eaten green or red, so either one that you like there. Next up, I have Morningstar. What is Morningstar? Oh, I think this is Mellow Star. This is Mellow Star, and this is another type of, I think it's very similar to Havasu. Mellow Star, and so that's going to be a nice medium heat, a fresh eating chili. These ones are both really good to like chop up and just like put on something where you want fresh hot chili without like burning your face off. Next up, we have a couple of my very particular favorites and very specialty ones. Pepperone, this one's new. This is for all you chefs out there. This is the Calabrian chili. I bought this one special from a different seed company because I knew it's like all the rage. And it's our first time growing it, so I'm really excited about that one. Pepperone Calabrian chili. And that's from the Calabrian region of Italy. And it is used to make a very particular chili powder. Next up, this one is an amazing chili, Numex Suave. It's very closely related. It's not exactly, but it's very closely related to ají dulce. And That pepper is basically a habanero with less heat. Does it have heat? Yes, a tiny bit, especially if you eat the seeds or the white part, the pith in the inside. But if you seed it, then it's just a nice medium heat, and it's got that smoky fruitiness of the habanero. So it's really kind of cool and special. And then lastly, we got the super hot habanero itself, and hot paper lantern, which is a habanero type. It's just a little bit different shape. This one's elongated and a little bit redder. This one's your classic orange hab. These ones are great for you pepperheads, loving really hot stuff. And that's basically our pepper rundown. As you can see, we really have a ton. When it comes to peppers, growing tips for those are very similar for the eggplant or very similar for tomatoes. It wants hot weather. It wants good airflow. So don't pack it really densely in a row. Don't put like a giant trellis right beside it that's going to block all the wind. It would like to be on landscape fabric or plastic or something like that. It can also be fine in bare ground. Just don't plant it too early. I think it's almost time to plant these, if not time. The last thing is kind of like optional. Some folks will top their pepper plants, which means like right about now, just snipping off this, just breaking off that top bit, and then it'll cause branching to happen, and you'll have more branching, more yield. We don't do that on the farm because we grow so many, it's just not even worth it. But in your garden, if you've just got one pepper plant, it's kind of scary to do, but I think that will do the trick there. And then, like I said, just kind of have fun with it with the peppers. Try them when they're green, try them when they're red, try them when they're dried. You can dry them in a dehydrator, and some of those cayennes that I mentioned, you don't even need a dehydrator to dry them. They'll just dry on their own on a rack. Like eggplant, they are heavy feeders, so make sure you've got plenty of fertilizer there for them. And there are a couple diseases that impact peppers, but just like anything else, the best defense is just a healthy plant. I wish you luck in your pepper and eggplant growing this year. And let us know if you have any questions. We will have all these plants available for you at market and at the barn store. And happy growing.